Fbx Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Our top story this evening, siding with a plea deal struck between attorneys, a 51-year-old accused child rapist from North Pole was given a 3.5-year prison term during scheduled hearings Wednesday morning. Melvin Likachimas had been charged with 5 counts of second-degree sexual abuse of a minor and a single count of third-degree sexual assault. As part of the plea deal, Likachimas, through the use of a translator, pled guilty to counts of attempted second-degree sexual abuse of a minor and the single count of third-degree sexual assault. Fairbanks police arrested him after the 15-year-old alleged victim alerted a family member about the incidents that are said to have taken place between late November and late December of 2011. Also, as a part of the plea deal, Likachimas must register as a sex offender for the rest of his life. Because he is not a U.S. citizen, he also faces deportation once he is released from jail. Well, after initially not forwarding charges in civilian court, City of Fairbanks police are reconsidering against a group of Fort Wainwright soldiers who stand accused of playing with guns early Sunday morning. City police initially claimed the matter was being turned over to the military police due to the incident involving all Fort Wainwright soldiers. Now, Police Lieutenant Matt Soden says they are considering forwarding criminal charges to the Fairbanks District Attorney. According to police documents, gunshots were reported at 3:24 a.m. Sunday morning. Police seized 3 pistols and a shotgun. Police also identified 2 suspects but did not make any arrests. No additional information has been released pending police investigation. A Fairbanks woman accused of forging ballot signatures in the last election has entered into a plea agreement. 39-year-old Deborah Carroll was indicted by a grand jury on charges of failure to appear, forgery, and perjury. Carroll was hired by the Alaska Sea Party to collect signatures for a ballot measure that was intended to reestablish the state's coastal zone management program. Prosecutors say she told police that she took names from a phone book and signed them instead. Today, she pled to second-degree forgery and agreed to a 2-year sentence. Alaska Congressman Don Young voted today in favor of the National Defense Authorization Act for 2013. The bill contains several of Young's Alaska-specific amendments, including a backdoor BRAC prevention measure. The legislation will authorize roughly $640 billion in national defense funding for both domestic and overseas operations, including a 1.7% pay increase for military members. Young's amendment will require the Defense Department to match up the decisions with hard data before they go ahead with any force structure move. Young said this is true for both Air Force and Army moves and is especially important in the case of Eielson. Well, our latest weather pattern continues to bring in frigid, cold temperatures across all of northern Alaska, including here in the Fairbanks area. Temperatures near 45 degrees below were common over the interior, with dense ice fog reducing visibility to near 0 at times. Now, the outlook is for more dense ice fog tonight, along with temperatures once again near 45 below. Drivers are warned to drive defensively and allow plenty of distance between the cars in front of them. Now, Mike Schultz joins us with a little bit more of what we can expect with this weather. Mike.
Well, Daryl, it's a perfect example of not believing everything you read. Today,
right.
There was a website called Wonderground that puts out weather forecasts on cell phones and everything else, and it was kept saying throughout the day that it was going to be 60 plus below 0 tonight. That would really be very uncomfortable. The good news is that is not true. We are not looking for that cold temperatures, but we are looking once again at an air quality problem. As you can see here, Fairbanks is unhealthy and North Pole very unhealthy. This is expected to last all the way through 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, but the good news is the temperatures should continue to warm right on through the weekend and even into Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
So this is the worst of it right now.
Tonight should be the worst of it.
Okay.
Exactly.
Very good.
Not 60 below.
No, definitely not. Thank you, Mike. Now, when we come back, Doyon works to get drilling permits.
And a petroleum analyst says even though gas prices are down, they're still at record highs. Stay with us.
This edition of the Fairbanks Evening News is brought to you by Prospector Outfitters, Kendall Auto of Fairbanks, First National Bank of Alaska, Napa Auto Parts.
Welcome back. Doyon has filed to get permits to mobilize for oil and gas exploration work in the Yukon Flats and in the Nenana Basin. The permits are cross-country travel, are currently open for public comment. A seismic project is planned near Stevens Village, which would involve either flying equipment in or building an ice road to get there. About 90 people would be hired for the job. When they announced the projects 4 months ago, Doyon officials said state legislation approved during the last session made it all possible.
Oil and gas exploration is highly risky. We understand the chances of success in any one well are fairly small. This allows us to take a longer-term approach. Hopefully we get lucky in the first well, but if we don't, this type of partnership with the state will allow us to examine the results of that well and possibly drill another well or a third well.
Average retail gasoline prices in Alaska have fallen 5.5 cents per gallon in the past week and are now averaging $3.61 a gallon. That is according to Gas Buddy's daily survey of 398 gas outlets in Alaska. This compares with the national average that has fallen 8 cents per gallon in the last week. Since June, gas prices in Fairbanks have dropped about 90 cents a gallon in some places. Now, while some people have called it a gas price crash, analysts say gasoline prices in some areas still could set all-time record highs for Christmas Day.
One says gas price crash, and the first thing I think is back to 2008 when the national average hit its record high of $4.12 a gallon. Then later that year towards Christmas, the national average has dropped to $1.66. I would coin that a gas price crash, but here we are. Prices have certainly gone down nicely, especially in areas of Alaska, but they still remain in the mid $3 range. I wouldn't call that a bargain on any token.
U.S. Senator Mark Begich spoke on the Senate floor today on the immediate importance of funding the Alaska salmon fisheries disaster in the supplemental appropriations bill. The Alaska provisions in the relief bill for states affected by Hurricane Sandy are coming under scrutiny. Now, some senior Republican senators want to strip aid for the fishery disaster. $150 million would be allocated for fishery disasters like that caused by low salmon runs this past season. The money would go to Alaska, states in the Northeast, and the Gulf Coast.
When the YK Delta loses its king salmon, the critical piece of the Alaska Native community and their stable for their food supply, it is real. It is not about, well, we'll go fishing next year. No, this is about, do we have enough food on the table to feed?
The University of Alaska Fairbanks Cooperative Extension Service will host a workshop Friday on adapting homes for seniors and people with disabilities. Alaska's housing market rarely provides for ADA compliance, even though the population of seniors has increased over 50% in recent years. Energy specialist Art Nash will address home updates that not only benefit seniors, but also those who suffer from temporary disabilities.
It's smart building. When you incorporate universal design from the very beginning at the conceptualization phases, you're allowing, in a sense, there to be an assurance that that person will have a greater likelihood of being able to stay in their home throughout their life, elder years or in young years if they're injured by something.
The workshop will be held from 5 to 7 p.m. at the North Star Council on Aging Senior Center, that is on Moore Street. Well, even though the temperatures are frigid outside, tomorrow many of the businesses downtown will be offering warm activities inside. The Downtown Association of Fairbanks will be presenting their annual winter solstice celebration. All week, local businesses have been gearing up for the finale with games, chases, and other special events. Only through a collaborative effort to raise funds will there be a fireworks show emanating from the Morris Thompson Center beginning at 7:30. Before that, a number of fun events will also take place.
Mrs. Claus will be here taking photos with kids and handing out presents at the Fairbanks Community Museum. We have Santa Claus scheduled to visit with kids at River City Cafe. Coco the reindeer will be available for photos at Arctic Travelers Gift Shop. We also have about a half-dozen bands performing in businesses throughout the downtown area, and a fireworks show kicking off at 7:30 on the Chena River. So we're excited about celebrating winter solstice this year in downtown Fairbanks.
Yes, Joe, we do shoot fireworks in the winter time because we can see them.
Yeah, I thought about that. I was
Yeah,
like, fireworks in the
not
summer?
so much in the summer, but now, yeah, we double efforts. Okay, what's going on in sports today?
Oh, we got a little bit of action going on. We go to Lathrop High School to highlight one of the top wrestlers in the state. And will there be any traction in getting NHL players back on the ice? Come back and find out in Sports Next.
Brought to you by the Law Office of Rita T. Alley. Peace of mind through professional legal services.
Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook. Oh my gosh, did I forget my name? No, I didn't. It's Joe Cook here at once for you in the sports scene on Thursday night. Hope you're having a good day and getting your Christmas gifts in order. Sports is always good during the holidays, so let's get to it. Tonight we start with a player profile. The 3A wrestling season has just ended, but 4A wrestling, they're just ending the first half of their season. A lot of high school athletes, they play multiple sports. They all know and interact with one another. And how about a wrestler, a junior out of Lathrop, who was number 2 in the state in the 160-pound weight class. The guy in the top spot is Moo Rogers of North Pole, but Joe Dickinson and Moo Rogers, they go way back to middle school, a friendly rivalry there. But with the second half of the 4A wrestling season coming up after the holiday break, Dickinson, who was 4-0, wants to be in position to take that top spot and help lead a Malamute team that has had to deal with some adversity of losing some valuable teammates right before the start of this season.
Any sense, Joe, on that?
We had a rough start, but I think we have some younger guys and some older guys that will have a chance in state to actually place, and we have a promising younger team, a younger half of the team.
Well, I think we have some really good individuals. Sam Zimmerman's rated first in the state. He's been there all year, so he's doing real good. Joe behind me is doing a great job. He's ranked second in state, so we have some kids that are, doing pretty good. I think Cole Foster's rated third in the state, and he's our heavyweight right now. So, we have a few guys still hanging around that are pretty tough.
Well, I didn't really have an off season. After season ended last year, I just went right to work and started working out and gaining more weight, and also working on my conditioning. So I think that helped, and also I think mentally I clicked wrestling and understanding the moves better. Last year I didn't place at all and got knocked out the second day, so it feels good to come back and actually be second and actually be in the top area where I can actually compete and be in the finals. I just come in and want to work hard and show them how to be a leader and how to work hard. So that's all. I don't really say anything. I just show them what to do.
All right, it's December, but it's never too soon to talk about some summer baseball. Wow, the summer, that sounds good right now. What better place to play some baseball in June than in sunny California? Well, that's where your Alaska Gold Panthers will be opening their 2013 season. The Gold Panthers announced yesterday they will be participating in the 2013 Barona Bash in San Diego, California. The tournament will be from June 7th through the 9th at the Barona Casino baseball field. The Gold Panthers didn't play in any tournaments last year. The Gold Panthers have a new coaching staff headed by Brian Harris out of Santa Ana College, with Tim Kelly and Kevin Higgins to remain as members of the staff as well. Last year, the Panthers finished 25-22 overall and led the Alaska Baseball League in hitting just under 300 at .299. When it comes to Major League Sports, it's been lockout fever in the last couple of seasons. Before the Miami Heat could get their second NBA title in 2012, the NBA had a 149-day lockout, which resulted in a shortened 66-game season. The NFL also had a 130-day lockout in 2011, and just this past June, the Shield suffered another lockout from the referees that led to the memorable touchception play between the Packers and the Seahawks in September. And now the NHL lockout continues. Today is day 96. The NHL, as of today, has canceled 625 regular season games through January 14th. There is no Winter Classic in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and no All-Star Weekend, which was going to be in Columbus, Ohio. The last NHL season that was totally lost was in 2004-2005. Donald Fair, the NHL Players Association Executive Director, talked about the situation before a charity game last night.
The owners have not indicated a desire to resume. We've indicated any number of times that we're willing to resume whenever they are. We're willing to resume without preconditions. I still presume that there's time, and that's what we're working for. And hopefully we'll get back together and negotiate out the remaining issues as soon as possible.
And hockey fans everywhere hope so as well. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. Be sure to keep up with your KTVF 11 sports coverage on our YouTube channel. Subscribe and watch some highlights. For your sports updates, go to Twitter and follow at KTVF 11 Sports and at KTVF Joe Cook. Stay cool, Alaska. Mike Schultz has your full weather forecast coming up next. We'll catch you next time.
Well, I know my microphone was giving problems earlier, but I want to make sure we emphasize to people that the rumors about 62 degrees below zero are that only rumors.
Right.
I hope that is a rumor.
It is, believe me. It's not going to get that cold. It's still going to be cold, but not that cold. In fact, out at the airport right now, we're looking at 35 degrees below zero, and the temperature will show you that we're looking at 33 below for the high today, 45 below last night. Now, the record was 40 in 1909, a record low 48 below in 1933. Sunrise this morning was at 10:59, and the sunset, it's about 2:40 this afternoon. That works out 3 hours and 42 minutes of daylight. A loss of 22 seconds from yesterday. The barometer is rising. What's going on across the state? Well, once again, we're talking about clouds, mainly over to the eastern side of the state, right about here. As you can see, we're looking at, for the most part, in the interior, very clear skies and cold temperatures. Another band of clouds coming in from the western side of the state. Now, as far as what's going on across the rest of the state right now, again, looking at clear to partly cloudy skies over southeast Alaska. A little fog, of course, across the interior, right, stretching down to almost the Anchorage Bowl area. 27 degrees at Kodiak. Sunshine around Cold Bay and up and down the west coast. Looking at clear skies there, too. 2 degrees at Nome, 22 below at Barrow, and Fort Yukon, 41 below. Lower 48 weather, we were talking about a big storm last night. Well, that storm roared on through. In fact, on the satellite picture, you can see the remnants of it right here moving around the Chicago area. That storm brought blizzard conditions and snow drifts over a foot high in many areas of Iowa, especially around the Des Moines area, and more thunderstorms moving across that the southeast. Another storm system moving across the Pacific Northwest, bringing more rain and snow and possibly more energy to the rest of the lower 48 over the next couple days. And today we had, again, that storm moving ashore, and tomorrow, even more heavy rain expected over the Pacific Northwest. So if you're heading to Washington over the weekend, be sure and take an umbrella. The overall outlook for the weekend, calling for very cold air to move on down from Canada across the Central Plains, windy and cooler over the the northeast, and over the west coast, of course, lots of rain. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. For the northern sections, mostly cloudy skies for Barrow, partly cloudy in Nome. Ice fog and severe cold will continue at Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, ice fog once again a problem for the Fairbanks area, but should be mostly clear skies in Denali Park. Over the southeastern sections, cloudy and winds up to 60 miles an hour around the Juneau area. Ketchikan 31 degrees, some isolated snow showers there. Over the southwest, partly cloudy in Cold Bay and Bethel, mostly sunny at Kodiak Island, but more winds expected at Kodiak Island also. And over the south central regions, looking at sunny all around, but strong winds again in the Valdez area. Well, again, it's time for our kids' weather, and this week we're talking with the kids from the Nordale Elementary School, but tonight the teachers got something for us.
Hello, I'm Mr. Harrison, and this is my 5th grade class here at Nordale Elementary School. We have a weather fact to share with you. Class, did you know the coldest and lowest temperature in Alaska ever recorded was Prospect Creek at negative 80 degrees below?
They're totally amazed, obviously. And tomorrow night, that class will be back here with a special Christmas treat for all of us. That'll be something you definitely want to see. Here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. Ice fog, 45 below. That's the coldest we're looking for. Maybe 50 below in the lowest lying areas. The ice fog will continue right on through the morning hours, and then by afternoon, it should be lifting around maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 32 below for the high. Now, as far as the 5-day outlook, as you can see here, we're looking again at temperatures. Again, probably slowly warming, in fact, warming nicely by the weekend and then into the Christmas holiday time frame. As you can see here, into the single digits below zero by Wednesday, and overnight lows also trying to warm up a little bit to 25 below. So Santa's getting a little excited there. He's not quite as warm as he'd like to see it, but he worked with that.
Well, at least, and we put the rumors to rest, it's not going to get 61 below or colder or 72 below with wind chill.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just not right.
83 below?
No, not at all.
The only place it gets there is in the northwest part of the state.
That's right.
That's amazing.
Okay, thanks, Mike. And that will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. As always, we are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, the blizzard that could make a mess of holiday travel plans in the lower 48. That's next with Brian Williams.
Join us here 6 days a week at 11 o'clock or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
Don't forget about Facebook, too. From all of us here at the News Center, we hope you have a great night. Stay warm.
Night.